do one of these things, we're obviously live here on Zoom, but we also go live on YouTube, and I'll show you exactly where you can find that. Okay, so basically, I'm going to share my screen with you guys here so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you go to youtube.com, right, you could search for Lumiwealth, right? You search for Lumiwealth, right? And that's our YouTube channel right there, Lumiwealth. While you're here, you can see that we're live on YouTube right now, right? So this is us conversing right now. So if you guys go to our YouTube channel, you can actually click here and see us live right now. But also after this webinar, this is going to turn into a recording, so you guys can watch this video afterwards. All right. So right now it's live on our channel, but then you'll see that this turns into a recording afterwards. Right. So if you want to get a recording, this is where you can get it. I'm going to share with you guys this link into the chat. Right. So you guys have access to that. So you guys can go to our YouTube channel if you'd like. While you're there, also make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell. Right. Typical YouTube thing, but seriously though, because we put a lot of free content up on here. We have a lot of really good webinars. We have a lot of good courses coming out, and we interview people in the crypto space. We interview CEOs of investment companies. We have a lot of really good content. And when you subscribe and you get that ringer, you'll get notified whenever this is happening, right? So for the people that did do that in the past, they got a notification that we just went live, right? So it's really helpful that you can actually join in like that, right? Okay, cool. So that's getting started. Welcome to this webinar on how to get started with algorithmic trading. Here's our agenda for today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get to know you guys, right? So who's on the call? We'll get to know you a little bit, so I can tailor this a bit more towards you. We'll go over an introduction, which is going to be, a little bit about myself, about Lumiwealth, that sort of thing. And then we're going to get into the thick of things. We'll talk about algorithmic trading. We'll talk about some of our trading returns we've gotten. We'll talk about the code briefly, right? And then we'll go into a demo, which I think is what you really want to see, is kind of, let's see this stuff working. The demo is going to be pre-recorded because obviously, it's not trading hours right now, at least for stocks. But it's pre-recorded so you guys can actually see that trading, right? And then we're going to talk about the course. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our course and how you guys can join and all that sort of stuff, right? Okay, cool. So first, let's get to know you guys a little bit. So if you guys could tell me a couple of things about yourselves, you guys type this into the chat. There's a little chat, icon that you can click on in Zoom. And if you could just let me know, what is your occupation, right? What do you do for a living, right? Are you an engineer? Are you working in finance? What is it that you do for a living? Do you know how to program, right? Do you know how to code? Have you ever written a line of code in your life? This course in particular does not require it. So you really don't need to know how to code to go through this, but it's good to know kind of the background that you guys have. And then how much investment experience do you have? How long have you been investing for, right? So we got a couple here. So I see Scott. So Scott said, you're a day trader, not a programmer. Cool, great. So this is perfect. This course, you don't need to know how to code. Java dev and telecommunications. Great, Brandon. That's awesome. Thank you. I think if you're a Java dev, you can quite easily pick up Python or even convert some of the stuff to Java if you really want to. If you're new to trading, we definitely cover a lot of stuff around trading and finance. You'll not only learn from the projects that we're doing, but also you'll learn from other students. You'll be part of the community. I think you'll learn a lot about trading, being part of the community and being part of the courses. We kind of have a mix of people in our classes. We have a mix of either people that are good at coding, but maybe a little bit newer to either trading or algorithmic trading. And then we have people that maybe have traded and invested for a long time, but are new to coding and want to learn how to apply that, right? So it's kind of the mix of people that we get, right? So welcome, guys. Scott also says 8 years trading. That's great. Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Alexander says, Alex, I drive trucks for a living. Cool. Great. Perfect. And then do you know how, I guess, if you do that, do you know how to code? Do you have a lot of investment experience, Alexander? If you could let me know that as well. All right. So welcome, guys. Thank you very much for answering that. Feel free to keep, I'm going to keep reading those as they come in. All right. But let's get to the next step here. So let's do a little introduction. Let me tell you about myself and about our company and what we stand for. Right. So my name is Robert. I've been coding for a very long time. I started when I was about 12 years old. It's been over 20 years, not to give too much away around my age, right? But been coding for a very long time. I've coded everything from, Java. I've done Java before. I've done C++, C. I've done PHP. I've done Ruby. I've done Lua. I've done Python, obviously, JavaScript, TypeScript, you name it. Name a coding language, I've probably done it already. It's been quite a while that I've been doing this stuff. So that's my coding background. I also have a fairly strong finance background. I got my master's in finance. After getting my master's in finance, I decided to start my own business. We sold that company for a little over $1 million. That gave me a nice chunk of change to be able to travel with. Really fell in love with New York City, moved to New York and started working on Wall Street. Worked at 2 different firms there on Wall Street, both in a software capacity. So the first company was a mortgage lender, right? They do large mortgages of $10 million and up, so like commercial mortgages, right? They do about $8 billion a year in mortgages, or at least they used to. They're probably bigger now. And when I was there, my job was really to build the software team there. So hiring, firing if we needed to, and basically planning out what we're going to be doing as a software team and how to orchestrate everything, how to build the projects. The project that we ended up building was something that's done maybe $60 billion now in loans. And basically, it's something that allows you to figure out what kind of loan we can give to you, right? So if you came to this website, you type in your address, we'll figure out what's the value of the home, and we'll figure out what kind of loan we can give to you, and you have options to choose from. And then, the machine learning and things like that involved in that. And then would basically help you actually get the loan, make it simpler, to make that process simpler, right? So like I said, that project to date, I think it's probably done about 60, $70 billion since we started it, which is great, definitely doing quite well. After that company, I went to go work at Voyager, which is basically a Coinbase competitor, if you want to put it that way. It's a cryptocurrency broker. When I started, it was basically just a dollar and a dream kind of thing, as to say. It was 4 of us. It was 4 of us in a room in a WeWork, whiteboard. Nothing really existed. We kind of just were starting from scratch as employee number 4 there. I helped again, build up that software team and really plan out the entire app in general. I wrote the first version of the app. It's now quite a large app. It's the official app of the Dallas Mavericks, right? It's trading on the stock market worth something like $3 billion. So definitely a very nice payday for my stock options, I can tell you that much. So after finishing a company that was, they're still ongoing, I decided to go leave and start my own business, something I've always been very passionate about, and that's Lumiwealth. And what we're about is we're about helping people invest better, right? It's helping people make money, right? But specifically, we're doing that using software, right? Software is fantastic at a lot of things. I think investing is even better at than a lot of things. You can name, medical applications, whatever. I think finance is a very good application for software because of the numbers involved, the speed, and that sort of thing. So Lumiwealth is really about using software to improve investment returns, right? We're doing that right now a lot through our courses. We have 4 different courses. We have our Algorithmic Trading course, which is the one we're talking about right now. We also have a course on options trading using algorithms. We also have a course on machine learning for trading. And most recently, we've come out with a course teaching you how to create blockchain contracts, so blockchain programming course. So we have 4 different courses, and we're adding more very soon as well. We're also building out a website to kind of make all this stuff a lot easier as well, right? Sort of like called a hedge fund, where you could actually invest in a lot of our algorithms, right? So that's Lumiwealth. That's what we're about. We're about really just making people money, improving investment returns. Okay, so Alexander says here, I'm reading the chat. No, do not know. I'm new to this, is what Alexander says, but I'm willing to learn. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Very cool. I heard Raleigh's very nice, by the way. Yeah, so again, this course, this is the perfect spot to be. If you don't know how to code, if you've never coded in Python before, that's no problem. We'll take you from the very beginning, right? So you don't need to be a coding expert, nothing like that, to take this course. This is our entry-level course, the algorithmic trading. So you're in the right spot. Perfect. Okay, so that's a little bit of myself and about Lumiwealth. As I mentioned before, we have this YouTube channel. Make sure that you guys check out our YouTube channel. This is, I'm posting the link again into the chat. Again, we are live right now on, no problem, Alexander. We are live right now on our YouTube channel. So if you guys want to watch us on YouTube, you can do that too. But if you want to get the recording afterwards, this is going to turn into a recording that you can watch, right? So right now it's live, but it will eventually turn into something that you can rewatch. So if you want to rewatch the video, you want to see kind of what happened, for whatever reason, you can rewatch the video here, right? Okay, cool. Another thing I want to bring up before we get into the thick of things is our Discord channel. Discord is awesome. It is where our community lives. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's basically this thing here. It's a chat room, right? We have lots of different channels here that people discuss. We have, people discussing everything from different platforms to use things. We have a crypto channel that's very active. Lots of people talking about crypto here. And importantly, you'll meet a lot of our existing and past students here. So people that have built successful algorithms, you can speak to them, ask them how that went for them. Not everyone wants to share exactly the details, but I'm sure they'll give you some sort of support. And you'll meet a lot of other people kind of in the same shoes as you, right? Trying to build these types of algorithms or just join the class, right? So you can get to know really past, future students. You get to know people that have the same sort of interests. And it's great. It's a chat room. We also have a voice chat. So for example, tonight we do this every Tuesday. We have our discussion hour every Tuesday. So at 8 p.m. Eastern, you could join if you're a student, if you're an existing student, you could join our discussion hour. And we even have these voice chats where people talk about what they're building and get to know each other and work on projects together and all that sort of thing. Right? Cool, so that's our Discord. I put the link into the chat for you guys to join. I strongly suggest that you guys join. There's definitely a lot to learn from being part of that community. We also have a survey at the end of the webinar, so please make sure you fill out that survey. We do read those, and it's really helpful to get the feedback there. And then also, I just want to let you know, please don't wait until the end to ask questions. If you have any questions, just ask them as we go. Definitely prefer having this thing being much more interactive rather than me just talking and one direction. It's much better when you guys ask the questions throughout and this becomes more of a dialogue, right? So don't feel like you need to leave the questions until the end, right? Okay, cool. All right, so that's housekeeping. That's our introduction. Let's talk a little bit about algorithmic trading and why do you care? Why does this matter, right? So first of all, what is algorithmic trading, right? Basically, what we do is we're using software to analyze data and make trades. Okay, I think this is important because most people think that algorithmic trading is just buying and selling very, very fast, constantly. That is not necessarily the right strategy. It may or may not be, depending on kind of what you want to do, right? There are a lot of strategies that will go off and just analyze lots of data, do a macroeconomic analysis, do a fundamental analysis, and recommend stocks to buy, right? You could do something like that. You don't have to even necessarily execute them. Some people opt to just do the research using data science and then just manually buy them. Most people, though, do want to have it execute for them automatically as well. So it's, we're going off and we're doing this research. We're finding what stocks we want to buy. We'll look at, social sentiment. We could look at economic data. We could look at fundamental analysis. We could look at technicals. We could use machine learning. There's lots and lots of things that we can do. And then based on that information, we'll be placing trades, right? Okay, that's basically what algorithmic trading is, right? So again, importantly, it's not just executing trades. It could also give you trade alerts. It could also tell you and inform you on what to buy, right? Okay. So why do we want to do this, right? So first of all, we want to do this because, it's going to be cheaper, better, faster, right? It's going to take a lot less of your time to do this sort of thing, right? Once you have a bot in place, I'll tell you, I have some bots running. I don't do anything. I don't really read financial news anymore, to be honest with you. They just sit there and they execute for me, and they make good money. I can tell you, I can show you actually some of our returns. Even today, for example, market was down. We're still making money today. Last time I checked, right? You know, it's faster. You could execute trades much quicker. Imagine something like Elon Musk makes a tweet, right? If Elon Musk tweets about Dogecoin, you better believe that that's probably going to move, right? So to get ahead of that is really important. Let's say Donald Trump is all of a sudden bad mouthing a company, that's going to affect its stock price, right? So being able to be very quick about it and get in and out of positions quickly is important, right? So Scott asks, can algo trading identify repeatable patterns from technical setups? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so you can, what we do with algorithmic trading is we do something called back testing, where basically you'll take data for the past 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, right? And then you can put together a strategy and test how your strategy would have done over the past 1 year, over the past 2 years, and see would it have been profitable, would it have beat the market, right? I'm going to show you, I believe I show you a couple of back tests later today as well that show you basically how each of these things is working, right? And if you want, I can show you even a couple new ones. But yeah, you can absolutely do, you can actually do technical setups, and you can find repeatable patterns using back testing that you can use in your trades for sure. Thanks for the question, Scott. All right, cool. So yeah, so we want to do this. We want to do this algorithmic trading again because it's going to take less of our time. It's going to be really fast. We're not going to have to be involved in this stuff, and it's going to be better because we can actually, instead of someone tells us, well, you should be buying this or you should be doing this, right? We can actually come up with a repeatable, testable pattern, right? It's a testable strategy that we can go using the past 10 years of data, back test it, see how it would have done over the past 10 years, and then run it only after we've proven that it worked at least over the past 10 years, right? It gives us a lot more certainty in terms of our future outcomes. I know a lot better how our bots are going to perform than probably a lot of people do with their trading strategies. A lot of people just, in a way, wing it, right? Just read some articles and they say do this and just go and do it. I mean, how do you know that it's going to be successful, right? Back testing will give you a very strong indication, right? But you don't have to take my word for it, right? We are not the only ones doing this. Some of the most popular, or some of the most actually screw popular, some of the most successful hedge funds in the world are using these strategies, right? So to name a few, we have Renaissance Technologies, right? This is started by a guy named Jim Simmons, and Jim Simmons, there's a fantastic book on him. I want to show you guys this book because it is definitely a great book, Jim Simmons' book. It's called The Man Who Solved the Market. It's a fascinating read. If you haven't read it yet, I'd strongly recommend reading this book. Let me go on Amazon. Right, this is the one. I'm going to put this link into our presentation. I'm also going to give you guys this link into the chat, right? So there's the book. So this book is fantastic, right? Basically what it's talking about is talking about Jim Simmons, the guy that started this hedge fund, Renaissance Technologies. He started it back, I think, in the 70s or the 80s when computers were kind of a new thing. And, at first it took him a while to figure out how to make these strategies work. But over time, they started getting really, really, really successful. We're talking to the point of basically these guys just have a printing press, right? They might as well have a bank machine in their house. They're making so much money. The story is wild. At the beginning, it's obviously, it takes some time to start a business, start a hedge fund. But by the end of it, these guys are buying houses, mansions, and forgetting they even existed, right? That's how much money these guys are having. They'll buy something for $5 million and forget they even own it, right? Just absolutely incredible how much money they're making, and the story is fascinating about how they built this sort of thing. So I put the link there in the chat. I'm also going to put the link here inside of our presentation so that you guys have it, right? But yeah, so these guys, last time I checked, they're managing about $110 billion worth of assets, pretty sure it's quite a bit more than that at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if that's double by now. They have made an average annual return of 39% year in, year out. You know, and some people, you know, I get these absurd remarks sometimes where people say, "Oh yeah, I'm making 1,000% a year." If you ever actually do the math on that, like that is literally impossible, right? If you actually made 1,000% a year return for even 3 years, you'd be the richest man on the earth. You know what I mean? It's not possible to do that, right? We have you know, this crypto thing that's happening right now. People are making some good money, and there's lots of ways to do that. And we're building a crypto course, and we ourselves have made a lot of money off crypto too. But in terms of the stock market, you know, the stock market on average makes a 10% return. This year was very, very good. It was up, you know, 40, 50%. It's a very good year, right? But then you also have years where it's down a lot, right? 2008, it was down 50%, right? Last year, it was down 30 something percent. Okay? These guys are making an average return of 39%. Okay, that's versus stock market of 10, right? So quadruple the stock market. Okay, but importantly, they're also almost never losing money, right? I think in their entire 30-year history as a hedge fund, they've lost money, I think, one quarter, and that was barely at all, right? They lost maybe like 0.5% or something like that. So these guys don't lose money and regularly make a ton of cash. So Scott, you're saying you're running a 28% P&L. Can you do that repeatedly for 30 years in a row? Right? That's my question to you, right? Yeah, so that's the hard part. Doing like this year, I could tell you I did maybe 70% this year, right? Ballparking, right? It was a good year. It's not hard to make money in a year like this. The question is, can you do this repeatedly? Can you do this when the market's down? Can you do this when the market's going sideways? Can you do this when the market's not up that much, right? It's a repeated 39% every year on a regular basis, right? That's what these guys are doing. It is absolutely astronomical what that ends up turning into in the long run, right? So these guys, so let's put it this way. So if you're investing in the stock market, if you put your money into S&P 500 and you got 10%, right? 10% returns, you pay $1,000 for 30 years, you would end up with $17,000, right? That's a typical investment. That's a typical, you know, retirement portfolio. You know, you put it into the market and you just hold on to it, right? 17 grand. That's you know, it's a good return over that many years. If you instead of put into at 10%, if you're making 39% a year, like these guys are making 39% year in and year out every year, that $1,000 wouldn't be 17,000. It would turn into 19.5 million after 30 years. If you could consistently do this sort of thing, 39% year in, year out, right? You'd end up with $19 million after 30 years, with just $1,000 in at the beginning, right? And Scott, you're saying, you know, you could trade any market, up, down, long, or short. That's great. Awesome. Yeah, it'd be good if you could take that and actually automate it, right? If you've got some good trading strategies, we could take those and we could turn them into robots. We can automate those strategies so you don't have to sit in front of a computer all day, right? That's fantastic. Thanks, Scott. Right. So of course this is a pretty amazing return, right? 39% is really quite astounding as far as, I mean, I think they're the most successful hedge fund of all time. I'm pretty sure. I could double check that, but I'm almost 100% sure Renaissance Technology is the most successful hedge fund ever of all time, period. Right. And that's not only in terms of the returns, but it's also in terms of the risk profile. These guys don't lose money. They're not making 40% just to lose 50% the next year. They're making 40% and then the next year making, you know, 41, and next year making, you know, 35, right? It's very low risk and very good returns for them. I'm pretty sure I saw something recently that this year I think they made like 100 or 120%, the Renaissance Fund, right? They did very well this year, right? So again, obviously performing very well. These guys they're all about writing algorithms. That's what they do, right? Their entire hedge fund is only software code and is constantly trading for them, right? They have maybe 100 different algorithms that are constantly looking for different types of market situations, and will use one algorithm in one situation, use another algorithm in another situation, and when it all nets out, they make this killer profit, right? They turn $1,000 into 19.5 million after 30 years. These guys started with a lot more than that. Jim Simmons is a billionaire several times over. I think he's worth like 10, $20 billion, something like that. Maybe even more than that now, maybe 20, 30 billion. So very, very successful. They've done very well, right? Using these algorithms. But they're not the only ones, right? There's a lot of other companies doing the same sort of thing. Two Sigma, same thing. These guys regularly beat the stock market. They do the same thing where they use algorithms. They employ a bunch of software engineers that build this stuff for them. These guys, last time I checked, were managing $60 billion. Pretty sure it's quite a bit more than that now as well. Last time I checked, they do some like double the stock market's returns on a regular basis, but with very, very low risk, right? So Two Sigma is a great company to see how well they're doing as well. Citadel also killing it. These guys are managing $30+ billion. Very, very successful. If you look at them in terms of hedge funds, consistently some of the best hedge funds in the world. Bridgewater is another one like this. If you guys ever heard about Ray Dalio, he's the guy that started Bridgewater. They're very much, they don't have their algorithms automatically execute things, but they do have a lot of data that they pull down to inform their trading decisions. Sorry, excuse me. So Bridgewater is another one that's using these algorithms and really making quite a bit of money doing it. And they manage about $140 billion last time I checked, right? And then another company, D.E. Shaw is another one, same thing. They trade using algorithms and also very, very successful, did very well, managing about $50 billion last time I checked. So you have lots of examples of companies, of hedge funds, some of the best hedge funds in the world employing these types of techniques, right? D.E. Shaw is also another really interesting one. Do you guys know, there's a very famous person that used to work at D.E. Shaw. Can you guys take a guess as to who that was, or do you guys know who that was? I'm checking the chat here. No idea. All right. So D.E. Shaw, the story goes is Jeff Bezos used to work at D.E. Shaw before he started Amazon, right? So he worked there and basically was helping them build out algorithms, was exposed to a lot of different financial data, that sort of thing. And that's actually where he got the idea for starting Amazon, right? Because he was going through all this financial data and found the internet was growing at, whatever, 1,000% a year or 1,000x a year. And he's like, wow, that's interesting. When I want to be part of that. That's where he got the idea for Amazon from. So he used to work on Wall Street at this company, D.E. Shaw, and then decided to quit, went off, started Amazon, and the rest is history, right? So definitely you're in some very good company when you're doing this sort of algorithmic trading. You're definitely in a spot where a lot of other people are doing extremely well. And you're seeing these types of people like Jeff Bezos come out of this industry, right? So you're definitely in very good company, right? So that's those hedge funds. We've also done very well. This is a little data at this point. I need to take a new screenshot, but this is one of our accounts last year when the stock market fell apart. And really didn't do super well. Did 17% last year in the stock market. Is 2020. We ended up beating the market by quite a large margin. When the stock market was up 17%, we did 53 in that same year, right? So we beat the market by quite a bit. Like I said, I need to get an updated screenshot of that. But I could show you some of our other accounts. Here's like our Alpaca account. Here's one of them. One of our algorithms that we run is I'm going to show you our diversified leverage algorithm. Right, I'm going to log in here. Right, so here is one of our algorithms, right? You can see today, obviously the market dropped, right? But you see the stock market was down, 2.5% or something like that, or 2%. The entire stock market's down and we still made money today, right? Using this one algorithm that we have in particular, right? And we have quite a few other ones, right? But this is what our one algorithm, our diversified leverage algorithm is what we call it. Today, the stock market was down 2% and we still made money, right? We're not up a crazy amount, but we didn't lose money when everyone else did lose money. We actually made a bit today, right? On good days, we make a lot more than what the stock market makes as well, right? So we have a very good strategy here that's been working out quite well. It was maybe, 3 months ago or something that we put in 10 grand into this. So we already made $1,000, right? Pretty quickly, pretty easily. Didn't really have to do anything. Just ran the algorithm and that's it, right? So yeah, so I mean, our algorithms are doing well. You see that a lot of these other hedge funds are doing well as well. It makes sense, right? Instead of sitting there and trying to come up with, how do we trade and whatever, we're doing this in a very systematic fashion, right? Where we can take our ideas, we can back test them, see how they would have done, be very strict about, what types of things we want to build, and then when we release our algorithm, is doing it all for us automatically, right? So we're doing this in less effort and we're getting very good results, right? If you want to get to know our code a little bit, here's a link to our code. If you guys are coders, you can take a look at our GitHub. We've recently updated our documentation as well. But you can go and just so you know, we do know what we're talking about. We created our own library for algorithmic trading. This is easily one of the best libraries in the world right now for this sort of stuff. You can trade options, you can trade futures with many different brokers. We're adding in crypto very soon. So this library is fantastic. If you guys are programmers, you can read all about it and learn a little bit about how our technology works and how to set things up, right? And when you become a student, we'll walk you through all this and show you how to actually code this and how to build bots out of this. We'll also give you a lot of example bots. We'll give you ones that we use to make money ourselves. And then we'll give you lots of examples so you can create your own and turn whatever your trading strategy is, you can take that and turn it into software code. All right. Okay, cool. So that's the code. We talked about algorithmic trading. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys a demo. Right, so I'm going to play a video because the stock market's closed right now, so I can't show you live, right? But I can show you a video. This is a couple weeks back. I recorded basically some of our bots trading, and you can see kind of how they performed and what they were doing during that day, right? So let me play this video for you so you guys can watch this. I'm going to be playing it, but I'm still going to be here reading your chat. So if you have any questions throughout, I'll be answering your chat as well, right? So let me play this video for you so you guys can see an example of how this stuff works, right? Play here. Into demo, right? So this is, I'm going to show you a couple different trading strategies that we show you, first of all, in the courses, and that you can employ yourself. It's pretty easy for you to get these up and running. I've had people that have never coded a day in their lives and have these strategies running within just a few weeks. Yeah, so, even if you don't know how to code, don't feel like you have to shy away from this, whatever. I'm going to be showing you a bunch of code here, but really it's not that difficult to learn. We've been able to teach a lot of people that have never coded before in their lives, right? Okay, so here, let's show you a demo of some of our different trading strategies. Yeah. So there's a couple I want to show you today. We have some new ones, like I was saying. Okay. So I want to show you, first of all, our fast trading strategy, just because a lot of people, whenever they think algo trading, they want to be able to trade really quickly, get in and out of things very fast, and analyze a lot of things. So what I'm doing here is I'm running this fast trading strategy. You see here, we go into our broker. It was nothing, and now it bought a whole bunch of stuff automatically by itself. Okay. And let me describe to you essentially what this strategy is doing. Okay. Here is the code. The code is fairly straightforward. It's not that long, right? So it looks like 160 lines of code, but a lot of it is boilerplate stuff, and a lot of it is kind of just tracking things and whatnot. It's very easy for you guys to get something like this up and running. Essentially, what it does is it looks at these symbols here, right? SPY, gold, TLT, Microsoft, Tesla, etc. Right? We're looking at all those symbols and basically saying which one has done the best over the past 1 minute. Right, and whichever one did the best, has had a momentum, the best momentum, it keeps the top 4. Okay, and we'll keep swapping them up. So if we watch this here, we see the top 4 we have right now is TLT, XPXS, XPXL, and MCHI. Those are best over 1 minute. You see that it just swapped. We just bought some gold, so it sold TLT and it bought gold. Okay? And if we leave this running, you'll see basically it'll do this all day long, right? You don't have to be in front of your computer. You could have this thing running in the cloud. You can have this thing running off your computer. It will just keep trading for you all day long, right? Now, this is a strategy that follows momentum,
But you could just as easily do a lot of other things with this, right? You could use technical analysis for this, right? I know a lot of people like looking at charts and support resistance, that sort of thing. You could use that, right? You could use things like RSI or pivot points or VWAP, right? You could use all those types of things to influence which stocks you want to own and have like a, you know, we have our top 10 stocks, and based on our criteria, we keep the top 4, and you can trade throughout the day doing that sort of thing. So this is very flexible. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this. And this is just a demo to kind of show you, you know, this fast trading, how it moves in and out. If we give it another minute, it should actually flip things around. We'll give it, yeah, so it executes once every minute. We give it a little bit more time, it'll swap things out. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I just did that. So it sold the gold. Remember, you guys saw the gold. It sold that, and it sold our MCHI. So we sold 2 of those things, and it bought SPY and it bought Microsoft, right? And that's because those have been the ones that are doing the best over the past minute, and just kind of hold on to them, right? It's just a simple momentum strategy. But like I said, there's a lot of other things that you could convert this into. Use any kind of technical analysis you want, or any kind of criteria that you want to do this sort of trading, right? This is something that'll be like throughout the day, intraday, quickly getting in and out of things, right? All right, okay, so that's our fast trading strategy. Let's show you our technical analysis strategy, right? Because this one is, we could basically take what we did in the last one, yeah, and we can do the same thing, or we could use essentially, you know, what we did in the last one. We could apply this sort of stuff for technical analysis type of stuff, right? So what this one does is it's sorry, there's a question here on chat. I want to do trading. Day trading will help me with that. Yes, absolutely, will help you with day trading. Yeah. So last strategy that I just showed you, the fast trading, is very well suited for day trading, right? So what you would do is you would take something like that and combine it with maybe a technical. It depends on how you trade, right? If you trade, you know, support resistance, if you trade using VWAP, if you trade using some sort of technical analysis, RSIs or Bollinger Bands or whatever, we could implement all that kind of stuff, right? So here is a technical analysis strategy. This one trades a little slower, but you can mix the 2 together, right? You can make it so that the last one that we had takes the top 4 stocks, right? This one, what it does is it trades based off of RSI, right? So it looks at the RSI of SPY, right? And if RSI falls below 33, okay, so it's looking at the RSI for SPY, and it has 2 stocks that it trades, okay? It has SPY and TLT, okay? It has the 2 of them, okay? And they're normally 60-40, which is kind of like what investment advisors recommend, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, right? But when the RSI gets too high on SPY, which means kind of like it's overbought, right, is what we call it with RSI terms. When it's overbought, then we say, okay, let's get out of SPY and only buy TLT. So we sell our SPY, go 100% to TLT. And then the opposite situation, when SPY falls too much and the RSI is low, then we will sell all of our TLT and only buy SPY, right? So it's changing weightings in our stocks based off of this criteria of a technical analysis, right? Technical indicator, okay? So if we see it trading right now, you'll see it bought 60-40 SPY, so 60% of money of 50,000 is put into SPY automatically, right? And TLT, the other 20,000, right? The other 40%. Okay? If this is a time when SPY was too high, it would automatically sell SPY and get into TLT. Or if the opposite happened, if SPY fell a lot, it will do the flip as well. You can do this much faster. You can do this with many stocks throughout the day. And you can use a lot of other types of technical analysis as well. So we use this library, right? You could use Bollinger Bands, right? You could use, you know, some of these things, I don't even know what they are. Average true range, you could use that. Bollinger Bands, you could use moving averages, crossing, you use MACD, all sorts of different things that you could use to trade with. RSI, stochastic RSI, right? Lots and lots of different things that you could use to trade. And you can trade throughout the day, buying and selling things automatically based on your criteria, right? You don't have to be at your computer. You don't have to be paying attention to it. You can set up stop losses automatically, all that kind of stuff you can get through the bot, right? Okay, so that's our technical analysis strategy, right? Okay, I'm going to show you some cool new ones that we just made, right? So this is one that I think will probably resonate with a lot of you guys. This is a really fun one that we actually just created, and I'm actually in the process of testing exactly how well it does, but it is definitely a very interesting strategy. This is not the right, okay, we're gonna get out of this. So this is a strategy that we call Reddit sentiment, okay? You get access to this strategy. If you join our classes, you get access to this strategy within our classes, right? We'll give this to you. You can use this, you can modify this. It's part of our library of different algorithms, right? Okay, so let me run this one here, okay? And let me explain to you kind of what it's doing. Okay. So this strategy, what it does is it goes to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Wall Street bets. I feel like this has blown up in popularity recently. And of course, you guys, if you guys follow this sort of thing or know about this sort of thing, it's been influencing a lot of stocks lately, right? The increases in GameStop was because of this channel on Reddit. Basically, I think it's now, when I last checked, there's 1 million, but someone told me there's 4 million people on here. Everyone's discussing stocks, talking about, you know, what to buy, what to sell, that sort of thing. And it actually has quite a bit of predictive power where, you know, GameStop shot up a lot because of what happened on Wall Street bets. There's some people that got going and basically went through the roof, right? GameStop, AMC was another one that's like a big, we call it meme stock or Wall Street bet stock. And there's a few other ones that are happening more recently, like Wish, and a few other ones that maybe you guys have missed out on. But if you had this bot that we've built out here, you won't have to, right? So what it does is it automatically downloads the hot topics within Wall Street bets, right? Downloads, you could specify exactly how much you want to download, right? And then it looks over all of those topics, reads all the comments, and uses some artificial intelligence, uses a bit of machine learning type stuff to figure out which stocks have the best sentiment, okay? And sentiment being whether people are saying they like them or not, right? I hate Wish, or I love Wish, or I think Wish is going to the moon, right? It's going to read all those comments and tell you which stocks are, first of all, talked about the most and which ones have the best sentiment. So we see here, Apple, for example, does not have a very good sentiment. It's widely talked about. People don't seem to like it on Wall Street bets right now. Ones that they do like is this one here, 0.43 Wish. This one's been a hot topic for a while. If you look at the stock charts, by the way, it's gone up a lot. It's doubled over the past week or two, right? So that sentiment is high up there. We have GOEV. I don't even know what that is. This is talking about, people are talking about this on Wall Street bets. But in either case, what it did is automatically read all that kind of stuff and then bought the top ones for you, right? So let's take a look here. Boom. These are all the top stocks on Wall Street bets, right? It will automatically hold on to these and read actually these comments throughout the day and throughout the weeks. You could have this running in a server, running on a computer. It will automatically buy, in this case, the top 4 stocks that are talked about on Wall Street bets. Not only the ones that are the most popular, but also the ones that people have the best sentiment for, that people say they really like. Look at that, we just bought them and all of a sudden our money is already starting to go up. It's kind of fun to watch. Yeah, so this is a very interesting strategy. We're going to be actually testing this over the next little bit, and I'm thinking about putting some of our own funds money into this as well. All right, so look at that. We literally just bought it, and look at what happened to our stock price. Like it's literally within a minute, it's shooting up like crazy, right? And what this strategy will do is it will just keep reading this all day long, right? And see, has it changed, right? If sentiments have changed, it will get rid of it, right? Or if sentiments have gone up for one, it will buy it, right? So automatically be doing this stuff all day long. All right, definitely really cool. It's amazing how fast it's going up. So we have a question here. I have no coding experience. Will this program sync it to my trading platform and auto execute the trades? It depends what trading platform you use, right? So if you have no coding experience, I wouldn't be too worried about it. We have a lot of people in our classes with no coding experience, and they've all been able to get bots up and running. So I wouldn't be too surprised about that. I wouldn't be too worried about that, right? Whether it links with your trading platform, it depends on what trading platform you're using, right? We have 2 brokers that we work with right off the bat. Yeah, so we use Alpaca, we use Interactive Brokers, and we're going to be adding in TradeStation soon. That's the next one that we're adding in. So if you use TradeStation, we'll probably have this built in within the next like 2 months, right? So we are definitely going to be adding that in soon, right? For Thinkorswim, they don't have API access. They have API access to something called TD Ameritrade. They don't give you access to the Thinkorswim platform. It's kind of a little weird there. So we recommend, actually, if you want to do like algo trading, TD Ameritrade is really not the best, right? They don't allow you to do paper trading, that sort of thing. And to be honest, it's really easy to switch brokers, right? Like to open up an account with Alpaca, like honestly, I think you can do this within 5 minutes, right? It's really easy to do that. So we work with them, we work with interactive brokers. We're going to be adding in TradeStation very soon, and then we're going to keep adding in more and more as we go. So you definitely have a lot of options there. This is amazing. Look at this. We literally just bought this and we're already making like a bunch of money. The stock chart just shooting straight up. Yeah, changing brokers. Yeah, I agree with you, right? Changing brokers is not very difficult. It's really easy to do that. I really like TradeStation. They have great APIs, so we're going to be working with them soon. They also have crypto, they have futures, they have a lot of other stuff. So TradeStation's a really good one that we're going to be adding in. It's amazing, guys. I got to start running my own money in this strategy. We literally just built this like 2 days ago, so we're still testing it out. But it's amazing. Look at this. Literally, in the course of this conversation, we've already made what, like $300 or something like that. It's just in the course of our talking right now. Cool strategy, right? So that's our Reddit trading strategy. If you have no coding experience, really not that hard for you guys to get this up and running. It's part of our code library, so you can actually start off with this. You can modify it however you want. You don't have to be an expert programmer to do this stuff, guys. You don't have to be some like whiz kid, because we give you a lot of these templates they can start off with. All right. Okay, cool. So that's a Reddit sentiment. I'm going to show you one more. That one actually is really cool. I gotta run that one. I'm going to do that after this. Going to run in the cloud and have it go for a few days, test it out for a couple of days, because that's pretty impressive how well it did that quickly. Like I said, we just built this one like 2 days ago. Another one I want to show you guys, and this is one that we actually just put a bunch of our money into. I really like this strategy, and I'll tell you why. Right? I'll tell you why through a back test. Okay, so we teach you not only how to build the bots, but we also teach you how to do the research behind it, as to, you know, how are you going to be picking a strategy? Is this a good strategy for you to do or not? Right? How do you find these strategies? And this is one way they can figure out whether a strategy is good for you or not. Okay. What I'm doing right now is I'm running a back test. Okay. So it's a back test for a strategy that we call diversified leverage. Okay. And basically what we're doing is we're going from 2012, right? We're doing this because some of these ticker symbols didn't exist until 2012, from 2012 until 2021, so 9 years, okay? And we're seeing how would our strategy have done over the past 9 years? What kind of results would we have gotten, right? So the strategy in particular, the one that we're doing, is called this diversified leverage strategy, okay? And basically what it is this is like modern portfolio theory, right? If you talk to someone like a Ray Dalio, or you talk to like some of the most prominent investors in the world, they all tell you diversify well. And the reason why you diversify well is because you want to make sure that you reduce your risk. If you reduce your risk, you can take on more, you can actually take on more risk and make more money, right? Essentially. So what this is we have a bunch of different ticker symbols we're in here. We're in the leveraged NASDAQ, so TQQQ, right? So it's the triple NASDAQ, right? So 3x the returns of the NASDAQ. If you look at the stock chart on this thing, it's wild. It's like up 1,600% in 2 years or something like that. It's crazy, right? But of course, also has its risks. There's a downside as well, right? So we want to protect against that. So we have 20% of our money into that, 10% of our money into UPRO, which is the leveraged S&P 500, 3x leveraged. Then we have 10% of our money into UDOW, which is a leveraged Dow Jones. Then we have 10% of our money in emerging markets, right? Leveraged emerging markets, right? 35% of our money in leveraged treasury bonds. So now we diversify, right? So we have in total 50% of our money in stocks, right? In leveraged stocks, right? And diversified around the world a little bit, right? And then we have the rest of our money in something to counterbalance that, right? To reduce our risks, to give us some good hedging, and to improve our returns without taking on too much risk, right? So we do that by having leveraged treasury bonds. So usually when stocks fall, treasuries go up and vice versa. So they're a really good hedge to have in a portfolio. We also have Barclays VIX, right? This is an interesting one. Basically, you lose money regularly, but when things fall apart, if like the stock market crashes, it'll go like up 5x. You'll make 500% of your money in like a day, right? And that's a really good hedge because if things fall, you want to be able to protect yourself, right? And we also have 5% of our money in gold. So this is one that actually I've put some of our money into, right? Not all, like some good chunk of our money into the strategy, and I'll tell you why, right? When we look at the back test, what we can see here is, look at this. So this is this strategy, okay, over that same time period, right? Over this 2012 to 2021, that 9 years there. So January 1st, 2012 to January 1st, 2021, right? So 9 years, okay? Over that time period, the S&P 500 was up 17.5%, which is nice, right? If you were in this strategy, you would have made 28.9%. You would have almost doubled the stock market's returns, okay? Which is amazing, right? Like obviously that's, if you guys do the math behind this, this is the difference between when you retire, you could retire with $1 million versus 10 million, right? That's like the difference, right? Like it's a very, very large difference when you have double the stock market's returns. Huge, huge payouts. This could be worth $9 million to you in the future. You know what I mean, this kind of differential, right? But okay, so it's great to have a higher returns. That's awesome, right? But we're not just talking about higher returns here. We're talking about higher returns while taking on the same amount or less risk. Okay, so over that same time period, so we doubled the stock market's returns, but we also had only a little bit of increase in our volatility. It's not too much more volatile, meaning this up and down thing. And our max drawdown is almost exactly the same, right? So meaning from the peak to the bottom, right? This is in last year, right? March, 2020, stock market fell 30%. From the very top to the very bottom, it fell 33%, okay? If you were invested in this strategy, you would have also only lost about 33% at the same time period. So we have the same risk as the stock market, but we're making double the returns. That to me sounds incredibly impressive, right? Which is why we're putting some of our money into this, right? We diversify among different strategies. We don't put everything into one, but this was one when we're looking at 30% a year returns, sounds very appealing to me, right? So this one went ahead. When we go in here, you could see it automatically bought all these things for us, right? All the different ones. This would be a pain, by the way, to do on your own. And the key is that it doesn't just buy these, it rebalances. And that's the key here, right? Because you'll have days like, for example, TQQQ will shoot up, in a week's time, will shoot up 100% or something like that. When it shoots up 100%, you want to rebalance your portfolio and put money somewhere else. And that's how you actually get the safety along with the very good gains, right? It's intelligent portfolio construction, and that's how you end up making all the money. That's why having like a robot that'll automatically look at the stuff and rebalance for you is really important, because that's how you're actually going to end up with these returns. You can't just go and buy them and that's it, right? You actually have to be rebalancing and trading them on a regular basis, right? So I very much like this strategy as well. We have our own money, like I said, in this as well, and so far been doing, we've been making good money. So I'm happy with it so far. All right, cool. All right, so that's a couple of our strategies. We showed you everything from our day trading, to trading off of Reddit, to building intelligent portfolios. I have a few more that I could show you guys. We have a whole library, like I said. There's tons of different things. We have things where we trade off of like macroeconomic things. We use like the debt, where the Fed Reserve, that they take on debt. We trade off of that. We're building out a bunch of options trading strategies as well, which we're going to have a separate webinar to kind of explain a bunch of that stuff, where you can trade volatility and all that sort of thing. We have lots and lots of different strategies, and we just keep growing more and more of them. So if you guys join our courses, not only are we going to teach you how to do this stuff, we're going to give you access to that big library, so you'll be able to either use it right out of the box, or modify it to do whatever you want it to do. You'll have access to that sort of stuff. All right. Cool. So that's the demo.
All right, guys. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on this? I know I was chatting with some of you throughout the presentation. All right. I'm gonna check here. There's a Q&A. I didn't see that earlier. D asked, what programming language are your bots? We write everything in Python, right? We do that specifically because Python's very good with data science. So it's very easy for us to pull information and for us to make decisions very easily. It's also very easy to learn Python. So if you're brand new to coding, Python is one of the easiest languages to learn. Right? Cool. Awesome. I'll show you guys lots more. I don't want to take you guys take too long. I feel like I could show you guys this for hours and hours because we have so many of them. You know, we have all these different strategies in here. When you join our courses, you're going to get access to this entire library, right? There's so many different things in here, so many different strategies that we're using. We're adding them as we go. Another strategy that we're going to be adding soon is going to be trading off of Discord and off of Telegram. I think it works very well when it comes to like smaller stocks, right? So like penny stocks, things like that, they trade a lot off of like Telegram. Same thing with crypto. It moves a lot based off of Telegram and Discord and that sort of thing. So we're building bots that can like basically read Telegram and trade off of that. Right, but we have quite a few different things that we're doing. Right, let me read through. So D says, thanks, Python is great, perfect. D also asks, what is the duration and cost of your course? So I'll get into that in a second. I just want to get through everyone's questions. I'm going to take you into the details of the course of when it starts, how long it goes for, how much it costs, and all that sort of thing. I'll explain that in a second. So we'll jump into that. So Rajesh says, pretty nice. Mikhail says, are there any visual representation of the backtesting results like Wealth Labs has? Yeah, there are. So when I did that specific, so let's run another strategy. I'll do a back test right now with you guys on the fly. Right. I'll do the debt trading strategy because we improve our technology on a regular basis, right? So this is we're back testing here. One of our strategies, the debt trading strategy, basically. Let me make sure this is actually running here. Okay, there you go. So starting a back test, cool. So running, let's see how long this is going to take. My computer's going a bit slow today. Okay, there you go. So it's running. It's going to take a little bit of time for this thing to execute. But basically what this strategy does is it does a 60-40 stock and bond mix of those leveraged ETFs. And whenever the government is spending a lot, right, which was like 2008, which was this year, it goes heavy into stocks, right? And then in other times, it goes 60-40, right? So basically, it takes advantage of these changes in how much the government is spending. And you can do this with a lot of different macroeconomic policies as well. You can do this based off of interest rates and off of all sorts of things, inflation, right? You can create bots off all that sort of stuff. But this one in particular is using debt trading. And I want to show you this because we're constantly improving our technology. And one thing that we added in recently was a lot of these visualizations, right? Where you could actually see how the strategy, how well it did through actual visualizations, right? So I want to show you that in a little bit. We'll wait for that to finish. Okay, cool. So I would say 4 hours. Likewise, Wealth Lab. Sorry, Alexander, I don't know what you mean by that. I would stay 4 hours. Oh, I would stay for. Sorry, I was reading wrong. I would stay 4 hours. Yeah, so join the course. I mean, like this is what we do in the course. We do it all day long, right? I love this stuff personally. Rajesh says when new strategies are created or enhanced existing ones, and if we've already completed the course, will we get the updated library? Yes, you do. You get access to library of code forever, right? So if you join the course now, and we're going to be adding in new strategies, you're going to have access to those new strategies in the future as well, right? So it's a good question. You have lifetime access to our code library. And Scott asks, does Lumiwealth do Forex? Yes, we do. I'm actually working on, right before on this call, I was actually consulting with someone to build out a Forex bot for them. So absolutely, you can build Forex bots as well using this technology, right? Forex, we're also adding crypto very soon to be able to trade crypto in the next like month or two. So a lot of stuff like that. So Donald asks, is there some sort of flat fee or lifetime membership? Yeah, so it's basically a flat fee, and then you get a lifetime access to all this stuff. All right. So here is the results of this back test. So this back test just completed, right? You can see here it did quite well, right? Over this period from 2012 to 2021, it made 2,400%, 2,400%. That's versus stock market, which only did 400%, right? The return is almost double, right? 39% a year versus 18% a year for this strategy. The volatility is higher. You're definitely taking a bit more risk, but your returns are quite a bit higher. So you're making up for that in spades, right? Your max drawdown also wasn't that bad compared to how much risk you're taking. So, but you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Let me show you the graph. This is basically what it looks like, right? That debt trading strategy is the blue line, right? And the red line is S&P 500. Just absolutely crushed the S&P 500. If you had invested in this particular strategy over the past, what was that, since 2012, so past 10 years, let's say ish, right? This is how you would have done versus S&P. You would have done very, very, very well. You would have made a lot of money in this thing. Right? Cool, and that's also just showing you that we have the graph. We're also adding in something called quant stats, where you'll be able to get like a whole breakdown of all the stuff. We're really trying to make this as visual and as easy as possible for you guys to use. Right. Cool. Thanks, Donald. Right. Okay. Let's see. You guys have some more questions here. Drawdown rates. Yeah. So we're going to be adding in. So Scott asked, do we have drawdown rates? We're going to be adding that in. Probably next week we'll have that in there. All right. So you actually be able to see like a drawdown chart, or to show you this is what we're adding in to Lumiwealth, so that you guys have access to this very easily. Right. We're using something called quant stats. And you'll get a breakdown like this. Right. You'll get everything here, cumulative returns and all your different metrics. Right. Volatility, right? Comparing it in terms of volatility, comparing versus benchmark end of year returns, distributed monthly returns, right? You get all of these different graphs and charts, rolling beta, rolling volatility, Sharpe ratios, Sortinos, and then drawdowns in particular, we're going to have that as well. This is going to be included. So if you guys start taking this course in the beginning of December, you guys will have access to all this stuff. You'll have all the latest code where you can get this sort of stuff output as well. Right? So I hope that answers your question, Scott. Right? We're constantly improving our technology. We're constantly adding in new strategies. We're constantly improving the technology that allows you to create these bots. And I can tell you, we're also creating a website that's going to make it very easy for you to host your strategies online. If you don't want to run them on your computer, make that very easy for you. And then also, if you're hosting online, you can like sell them to other people. We're building like this new age hedge fund where it's basically a marketplace of algorithms. That's something we're working on. So if you go through our course, you might actually be able to make money, not just on using your strategy, but you can also sell your strategy to others and make money that way too. Become like kind of like a hedge fund manager, right? So that's some of the stuff that we're working on. Like I said, we're very passionate about this sort of thing. I love this stuff. I can talk about this all day long. Our strategies are doing well, and we just keep getting better and better. Every year we do this, we keep getting better. So, and then when you guys join our courses, you get lifetime access, right? So if you took a course, let's say you start this course in December, the one coming up in what, a week or so. If you join that course, then you could take a course in a year from now again without paying for anything. If you want to get all the latest code, you can get that. You get lifetime access when you join our courses. Right? Okay, so let me tell you about the courses. Right, let's actually jump into that. All right. So first of all, we have 3 different plans for our algorithmic trading course, but for all of our courses in general, we have 3 different plans. We have our self-directed plan, which is basically you watch recordings of the past lectures. You're not in the classes live, you're just watching the recordings, but you still get access to our community. You still get access to our library of code going forward forever, right? You still get access to help as well. If you ever need to jump on a call, we can jump on a call as well with self-directed. It's limited to only a couple hours, but you'll still have access to all that sort of thing. So that's self-directed. You get access to the course. It's the course recordings that you'll be going through, right? Then we have our live course plan, and this is definitely the most popular one that we have. This is basically live. It's kind of like this, right? I'm going through some material. You guys are asking questions in between, and I can respond back to you guys. I can tell you, whatever question you have, we can solve that question. We also, you can also like share your screen. So if you get stuck somewhere, we'll do a lot of like workshops where you share your screen and we make sure that you're there. In this live class plan, you really get a lot of hands-on help. You get a lot of ability to communicate with people. You get to know the other students very well, right? So a lot of people end up working on projects together. Really, it's kind of like being in a classroom. You show up on a regular basis. It paces you, makes sure that you're staying focused. The live nature of it really is a lot more engaging than just watching videos. And you also get to ask those questions, right? And I think that's very important. You're engaged and you're learning. You're doing active learning throughout the entire process, right? So that's live classes. Like I said, it's literally in the name. It's live classes. It's live over Zoom. You can share your video. You can turn on your microphone. You can just ask questions throughout the class, right? Then we have a project help and tutoring plan. This is our white glove service, right? So you get access to, by the way, all these. So live classes, you get everything from self-directed plus more. So project help and tutoring, you get everything from live classes and self-directed plus more, right? So you're going to get a lot more hours of one-on-one time if you really want to get a project done. We'll spend a lot of time with you making sure that project gets done, right? If you need to have even some development work, for a lot of these people that are doing a project help and tutoring, we'll actually sit down and just write code for them, right? Really make it a lot easier for you to get where you want to go. And you have a lot of support helping you out, making sure that you're getting this bot built quickly, easily, and properly, right? That's the project help and tutoring. Definitely by far, the most popular plan is the live classes, right? So here's the pricing for each one of them, right? So our self-directed classes, which is the videos, access to our community, the one-on-one support whenever you need it, and basically lifetime access to our code library, lifetime access to our video library. You get all that for only $1,500. There's also payment plans available, so you don't have to pay that all up front. You can pay over a 3 or a 5 month period. So $500 a month or $300 a month, you could do that sort of thing. That's the self-directed plan. Live classes is $3,500, right? Basically, you get everything from self-directed plan, and then plus you get the live classes, right? So it's basically 12 weeks of live classes. It's about 2 hours per week each class. You get more dedicated Q&A. You get more time to spend on all this sort of stuff. You get access to future videos and code. You'll get help with your projects. You'll get to know your teammates, your classmates. You'll get, and then if you so desire, you can also get help with your resume and interviews and that sort of thing too, right? Then our project help and tutoring plan is about $5,300, and that includes everything from those two plus more. You really get really the project help and tutoring is you get help building your own project. You get lots of one-on-one time, and if you're trying to get something done, this is really going to get you there. It's really going to help you. As a white glove service, we'll really make sure that you have your bot built, it's built properly, and you're getting what you want out of it. Right? Again, all of these have payment plans, so you don't have to pay all of them up front. Okay? And I'm going to answer some of your questions. You guys have a couple questions here. D says, I'm definitely taking the self-directed course. Cool, sounds great. See you in the class. That sounds awesome. If you ever, like I said, self-directed, if you ever have any questions, we have a whole community on Discord they can ask questions to. People here really know their stuff, so I can help you out. A lot of people know how to use Lumibot and that sort of stuff, so I can help you out. If you ever need to get on a call, we can jump on a call with you as well. I'd suggest to go for the live class, to be honest with you, because this is definitely our most popular class. But it's because you kind of get to be part of that community. You get to be part of the actual live class. You can ask questions in class. It's definitely our most popular option for a good reason. But of course, in either case, I'm definitely here to support in whatever you're trying to do. All right. So Mikhail asks, can I repeat the course later? Yes, you can. And a lot of people do that. Sometimes people will take the self-direct or take the live classes and they'll start doing it. And then, life happens, right? Maybe they got a new job. A lot of people that take our courses get promoted, which is awesome. Someone recently got a job at Goldman Sachs, which is really cool. Very proud of her. It's amazing how when you add this kind of stuff to your resume, it really adds a lot. But life happens, right? You're taking this class, and then maybe you have, maybe like you get sick, or maybe you get a new job, or maybe you have a baby. Like who knows, right? Life happens. If you need to retake the class, you can take it as many times as you want, right? So you get lifetime access to all this stuff. We have plenty of students that took it in the future and kind of just want to redo some parts of the class. So like, I want to kind of reinforce it a bit, or, you know, technology's changed and you want to see the new stuff, right? You're more than welcome to retake it. And a lot of people do that, right? It's not going to cost you anything to retake the class. Right? Okay, so some more stuff here that you can read. You can read about the course learning outcomes, but I think probably the most important thing is the curriculum. So let me take you through how this course is structured and what you're going to be learning. All right, so it's divided into 3 parts, right? Each part is 4 weeks long, right? It's a 12-week long course in total, okay? So part 1 is getting your fundamentals down, right? It's making sure that day 1 is, you know, introductions. Everyone gets to know each other, so you get to know your other classmates and things like that. It's great to get to know other people in the class, so that way you guys can build projects together and things like that. We'll make sure that your system's all set up. We'll make sure that you understand how the tools work and kind of just introduce you into the class, right? Week 2 is a Python refresher. We're going to cover a large chunk of Python in one day. It's going to be a very fast class for those of you that are new to Python. For those of you that have done it before, it's just going to be a quick recap, right? And this, by the end of this, we'll teach you all the like main things that you need to know in Python to kind of get you ready for the course, right? Then weeks 3 and 4, we're going to introduce you to Pandas. Pandas is basically probably the best library in the world when it comes to data science. If you're a data scientist and you don't know what Pandas is, I don't know how good you are at data science, right? Pandas, like everyone uses, it's kind of like Excel on steroids, and allows you to like download data, manipulate it, come up with insights, graph things out. It really makes it very easy for you to analyze data. So we're going to teach you how Pandas works, and we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it here. So you kind of have your fundamentals ready, and you can start tackling all the rest of it, right? Okay, and part 2 is all about applying all the stuff they have now to the world of finance, right? So we're going to download in week 1 a lot of stock market and economic data, so we can take that and start analyzing it. We're actually going to come up with like a strategy here, and in week 1, how we analyze that data and how you can figure out what is a good strategy and not. Week 2, we're going to go over financial performance metrics, right? So basically, how can you calculate if you're doing well and how well is your algorithm doing? And then we're also going to go through a back test, right? And show you how to back test some stuff manually, right? Weeks 3 and 4, we're going to focus heavily on back testing, right? So remember, back testing is basically taking past data and then running our algorithm over it and seeing how it would have done in the past, right? So over the past 12 years, how would our algorithm have done, right? Would have done very well, would have not. This way we can like tweak our strategies and like really have strategies that make a lot of sense before we actually start putting our money into it, right? First thing we want to do is we want to build our algorithm or do some sort of research and build our algorithm, right? Then we want to back test it, make sure that it would have worked well in the past. And then if we do that and it looks like there's a good thing, we'll paper trade it for a bit, make sure everything's working properly, and then we'll go to live, right? So we're taking a very calculated approach to investing here, right? We'll have our strategies, we'll build them out, we'll make sure they're working properly. We, you know, analyze how they did in the past, and then we'll launch them, right? And this section here is going to teach you all about how to do that, right? How to be very systematic in your investing and in your research, and how to build strategies based off of that, right? That's part 2. Part 3 is really all about building this trading robot and have it running live. A lot of people even have it running live in part 2. It's pretty easy to get up and running. Once you have a back test, it's pretty easy to get this bot up and running. But part 3 is really going to be making sure everyone in the class has a working bot. I stress this like crazy in the classes. Everyone coming out of the class needs to have a working bot. I guarantee it. If you guys show up to class and you actually put in the work, I guarantee you by the end of the class, you will have a working trading bot for sure. Okay. We have a lot of examples they could use right off the bat, and you can take those things, you can modify them and turn them into your own, right? So by part 3, we're going to make sure that you have that set up. We're going to make sure that you have that trading bot set up. We'll teach you how to connect to different brokers, right? And change all that. And then we're going to give you lots and lots of examples, right? So I'm going to walk you through, you know, that Reddit example. I'll show you how it works, right? We'll walk through the diversified leverage example, how it works, and you'll see how you can modify it and that sort of thing. We'll go over the debt trading. We'll go over all these different examples, and you'll see how they work. We'll go through it step by step in the code, and then you'll be able to take that, put on your computer, and either run it as is or modify it or whatever it is you want to do with it, right? And that will be all of part 3. And then at the end of part 3, we also cover machine learning. If you guys don't know what machine learning is, we have an entire class on this. It's very, very cool. It's basically using artificial intelligence for trading. Imagine this. If we can use AI to make cars drive on their own, imagine what you could do with investing, right? If you could build a self-driving car using machine learning and AI, imagine what this can do to your investing life. You can do some pretty amazing things. And I'll show you a couple of algorithms using machine learning in week 4 of part 3. Right, so you'll come out with that, right? So by the end of it, you're really going to have a very strong knowledge of Python, of data science. You're going to have the ability to back test the results. You're going to know how to systematically come up with a good strategy and make sure that's working well. And then you're going to have this actual strategy running and on the stock market and trading, right? Your stock market or Forex, you can trade pretty much anything. Forex, stocks, futures, options. We're adding in crypto very shortly. So you guys actually, if you take this course in December, we'll talk about crypto a bit in this class as well. You can trade pretty much anything using these algorithms. It's all the same sort of thing, right? It's just different brokers and different assets, right? Okay, so let me read. There's another question here from D. Is the rebalancing bot same as the mean reversion bot? No, they're separate things. So a mean reversion bot would do something different than rebalancing. In some ways, there's an overlap, right? I can understand where you're saying that like mean reversion in some ways can be kind of like rebalancing, but there are important distinctions between them. Right? A mean reversion bot is going to do usually different things than a rebalancing bot, right? Both can be very effective, right? I've seen some pretty cool stuff using like swing trading, which is like mean reversion and following trends. I've seen some people make some pretty good money doing that too. And we'll show you how to build stuff like that. It's actually not very difficult, right? Cool, okay. So here's our upcoming live classes, right? So we have one live class starting very shortly, December 8th. Technically our registration's closed, right? But if you guys want to join, you guys can still get in, right? You really don't have a lot of time. And the class starts on Wednesday, so not tomorrow Wednesday, but next week Wednesday is when the class starts. So if you guys join now, you guys can actually get into this, and we'll kick it off in a week from now. You guys can be started on this stuff, right? So December class, like I said, starts on December 8th. It goes for 12 weeks long, excluding holidays. So this holiday season, we're going to exclude New Year's and Christmas, right? So if the classes fall on those days, we're obviously not going to be in class those days, right? We recommend about 8 to 12 hours per week of effort, right? Some people have to put in less, some people put in more, right? If you've coded before, this will come a lot more naturally to you. If you've never coded before, you might have to put a little bit more effort. But in either case, we recommend about that much per week. The class is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, and it's 2 hours per week. We usually go 2 to 3 hours, right? Lately, it's been a little closer to 3 hours just because people have questions and lots of things like that. But 2 to 3 hours per week is the average lecture time. And again, it's live, so you can ask questions throughout and that sort of thing. Another benefit of the live classes too is a lot of people will ask questions about something in a live class. I'll usually go off, write some code, and come to the next class with that code in hand. So there's definitely a lot of benefit being part of these live classes, right? So that's the one that's starting December 8th. We also have another one, if that time doesn't work for you, we have another one starting in January. Starts January 30th. This one's on a weekend. It's actually our first class we're doing on a weekend. And it's every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Pacific. So if that time happens to work for you better, then the Sunday is, the January class is on Sundays, right? And the same thing goes for 12 hours, goes for 12 weeks long, starting January 30th. So January 30th, 12 weeks long. We recommend 8 to 12 hours per week, every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And again, the classes are about 2 to 3 hours long each, right? We're also, by the way, having a special right now. So if you guys want to save some money, it's 20% off right now. You could use this coupon code. Basically, once you select course, on the next page, you can enter a coupon code. If you enter this in there, it will save you 20%. 20% on 3,500 bucks. That's saving you $700, right? So if you want to save some money, make sure you sign up early to get this over here, all right? Here's the course projects. Here's kind of what you're going to come out of it with. You're going to, our first project is analyzing investment strategies. You're going to be very good with data science, downloading data, analyzing it, back testing your strategies, making sure that you're actually making good, sound decisions based on data, right? And then project 2 is going to actually have a live trading bot working, and you're going to be seeing this thing, executing trades, buying and selling stuff over whichever broker you choose to work with, and making you money throughout the day without you lifting a finger, right? Which is definitely a great thing to do, right? If you want to read a little bit about myself, you can read more about me here. By the way, let me send this. I'm going to give you guys this link into the chat so you guys can check it out yourself. So it's in the chat. Feel free to click on that page and look through it yourselves. Yeah, here's a little bit more information about me. I should add my LinkedIn link down here as well. But you can find me on LinkedIn if you want to know my background. And then also we have here our testimonials, right? So you can learn from all of our different students. Don't take my word for it. We've had a lot of very happy customers, a lot of very happy students. People have built some really cool stuff. I can tell you Agim is very active in our community. If you're on Discord, you'll probably see him around. You can talk to him, ask him questions. Renee was part of our class a while ago. You can listen to what he did and what happened with him. I know he got COVID for a bit, so he was a little sick for a little while, but still building out some cool stuff there. And then Santayan, you can listen to him and what he's done. He's actually been very successful with his algorithms. Last time I spoke to him, he made 400% in the past year. Not bad for a year. And this wasn't taking any kind of crazy risks. He really strongly believes in this, like following social media influencers and following influencers in general. He's made a lot of money doing that. So you can listen to his story here if you'd like. Right. We also have more testimonials. If you go to like our testimonials page, right, if you're interested, where is that? Testimonials. You can listen to more of our testimonials on the actual testimonials page, right? There's a couple more on here. We're still need to add a few more. I have a couple that I just haven't gotten around to editing yet, but there's more testimonials here that you can watch as well. You can watch an example of a games bot actually trading if you want. There's lots and lots of stuff on here, so you can watch all those things. And again, don't take my word for it. Speak to our past students, talk to people in our community, watch the videos of the testimonials. We've had lots of happy people coming through our classes, and people building some very, very cool bots. Right? Okay, all right. So that pretty much covers it for everything for today. Let me turn around to you guys and let's see what questions you guys have for me. All right. So I see that there's one here already in the Q&A. D says, thanks. No problem. Thank you, D. Right. So I'll give you guys a little bit of time here to write out your questions. I know you've been asking throughout the entire presentation, so I feel like we've probably answered quite a few already. But let me know what else, what other questions you have for me. All right, so we got a couple coming in here. So D says, how much Python knowledge is needed? We'll teach you Python from scratch, right? So this course is meant for beginners, right? So even if you don't know how to code, we'll teach you how to do that, right? So this is meant to take it from the very beginning, right? Cool. Scott asks, momentum slopes, can slope parameters be programmed? I've never used momentum slopes in particular, but I can tell you these technical tools, they're very easy to put in. If you want to do technical analysis, there's lots and lots of libraries on this. And like, for example, here's a technical analysis Python, like there's a lot of things that just work right out of the box. I stopped coding after COBOL and Fortran 3. Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah, we'll teach you how to code. We'll teach you how to do the Python stuff. Don't feel like you need to be any kind of expert going through this course. This is the course for the beginners. If you don't know how to code, we'll teach you. We'll take you from the very beginning and walk you through everything. All right. Here's I think this is the one. Yeah. So there's so many different kinds of technical analysis that you could use. You could use momentum. Look at all these different indicators they get right out of the box. Bias and balance of power, BR. I don't even know what half of these are. Oscillators, different types of oscillators, right? there's so many different types of indicators they could use right out of the box. It's very easy to do technical analysis using bots. Um, Mikhail asks, have you tried to program chart pattern recognition? Yeah, our machine learning bot actually does a lot of chart pattern recognition. So basically, it's doing a machine learning model on top of a lot of these indicators here. Can be quite powerful. You know, like when you run this bot in certain months, it makes like really a lot of money. Yeah, so absolutely, we've done chart pattern recognition. There's a lot of stuff like that that we've done for sure. And these bots have that sort of thing too. It's pretty easy to do that sort of thing. Mike asks, I use TD Ameritrade. You state you can run these bots in this platform. What others besides Alpaca can the bots run on? Sorry, Kant and TD. Yeah, so TD, so there's a limited amount of brokers that allow you to do algorithmic trading. Not every broker allows it, right? So the ones that we support right now out of the box are Alpaca and Interactive Brokers. We're adding in TradeStation. That one's going to be available very soon. Give it about a month. By the time that you guys get to this part of the course, it will be available essentially, right? So you guys can trade TradeStation. We're also going to be adding in a lot of crypto brokers. So we're going to be adding in like Binance and Coinbase and name a bunch of crypto brokers. We're going to add in a lot of them all at once. So you're going to have access to quite a few different brokers. If there's one in particular that you want to add, we could add it to our roadmap as well. It's not that difficult for us to add these in. It takes us a couple of weeks to add a broker. All right. TD Ameritrade in general isn't the greatest for this because they technically have an API and we can work with them. But the problem is that you can't do paper trading with TD Ameritrade, which means you go into live money immediately, which is a little scary, right? I don't know about you. I'd rather test it out a little bit first before running it live. That's why we're not big fans of TD Ameritrade when it comes to algorithmic trading. But again, we support a lot of other brokers, and generally speaking, it's pretty simple to change brokers. Also, keep in mind that when you're running an algorithm, you probably want to have the account with just that algorithm, right? Or else you're going to confuse it, right? If it's like trading Apple, buying it and then selling it, and then you all of a sudden go in and start doing that too, you're going to confuse the bot, right? So usually you want to have a separate brokerage account for your algorithms than you do for your, you know, whatever other kind of trading you have, right? It's easier to keep them separate. So D asks, yeah, awesome. Thanks, Mike. So D asks, yes, chart pattern recognition would be nice. Taking a statistics of winning pattern and running them on profitability. Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of stuff that you can do like that. Technicals, like I said, very easy to do. Bots are great at that sort of thing. They're great at pattern recognition, using technical analysis to trade. Again, we have those machine learning bots that are quite effective and quite powerful. So there's a lot of stuff that we do around those lines of chart recognition and technicals and all that sort of thing for sure. To be honest with you, I've seen the most profitable bots I've seen trade off of news and things like that. So like following influencers and following news, those bots tend to be some of the most successful ones I've seen, right? But you know, if you guys want to build, you guys can build pretty much anything that you want, whatever your heart desires. Really, it's quite powerful the technology that we have to be able to build these bots. Right? Scott asks, did you know that Schwab bought TD Ameritrade and one day are merging Thinkorswim into the Smart Street Edge? Yeah, I've heard about that actually. I've heard that they're planning to merge all that stuff together. Yeah, it was a while back that they bought this. That was a very big acquisition. So TD Ameritrade, technically, you can do algorithmic trading. So I guess in that sense, Schwab will also have it. But again, they're not the greatest. They're not the best for algorithmic trading. I'd recommend TradeStation is a really good one for this sort of stuff. TradeStation is a great broker. And they're really good with algorithms. Alpaca is another really good one. They trade crypto as well. Interactive Brokers is another very good one. These are kind of, you know, and they're also some of the best brokers in the world in general. They're all kind of the same sort of thing. But when you look at like one of the advantages of Interactive Brokers is that they're international. You could trade like stocks in Australia. You could trade. There's one of our students asking about that in particular. Trade stocks in China and Japan. Trade stocks in, you know, wherever you can think of. Right. You can trade all around the world. They're present all over the place. They also have, you know, futures, options, you know, I think even CFDs in some cases. They have all sorts of different types of assets you can trade, which is really cool when you're building bots, because you could have a bot that's trading stocks, but then automatically buys put options to protect your downside. Like there's all sorts of like really cool stuff that you can build doing this stuff. And having a good broker is helpful because it allows you to, it gives you more latitude, it gives you more ability to do different types of things. Right? Cool, great questions, guys. Any other questions for me? You guys you guys really have some good ones today. I like this. All right, Gavin asks, if we know JavaScript, can we also code it as well? So we teach specifically how to use Python, right? You can probably build bots in JavaScript. I would recommend Python though, just because Python's a lot better with data science, right? I don't know if you know JavaScript, if you've ever tried to do like data science or working with finance in JavaScript, it's really not a very fun thing to do. Believe me, we wrote Voyager in JavaScript, the backend. It's it's a lot easier to work with Python when you're doing this sort of thing. So that's why we chose Python, right? But if you know JavaScript, I'm sure you can pick this up very quickly. You can pick this up very fast. Like Python's one of the easiest languages to learn. It's very, very easy to learn Python. If you know JavaScript, you could probably pick up Python in like a weekend. It's very simple. DS, does a self-directed also have those two project work? Yeah, so you can definitely work on those projects within the self-directed, absolutely. The only difference really is the amount of support that you get and whether you see the classes live, right? So a self-directed class, you still get access to all the projects and everything that we do in there. You're just not going to get as much support, and you're not going to get that live interaction, right? But you get everything else. Okay. Cool. No problem, Gavin. Right. Any other questions, guys? This has been fun. You guys are a very good audience. Lots of questions. It sounds like you guys are really doing some cool stuff too. All right. Okay. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, or if you have any questions in the future, I should say, feel free to reach out to me, rob@lumiwealth.com. You can reach me also on Discord, ask any kind of questions you want on Discord, right? You can reach out to any one of our staff, Alicia, or anyone else can help you out with any questions you have. Yeah, I hope to see you guys in the course. It starts in a week. It's exciting. 1 week from now, you guys can get started on this stuff and start building your own bots. So hopefully I see you guys in the course. And sorry, one more question here. Alignments. So Scott says alignments are what I day trade off of. Capturing them in a bot would be great. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, it sounds like what you're doing, we can definitely turn into a bot. And if you join, one of our live classes, or even get the project help, depending on kind of how much assistance you want. But you join the live classes, I'm more than happy to jump on some one-on-one calls with you and actually like walk you through how to build this sort of thing. I spend a lot of time with people on the phone, helping them build their bots, making sure that they're working the way that they want to. This is what we do. It's great. It's very cool stuff. We're putting it on a website, putting together a website soon where you'll be able to see a list of all our algorithms, you'll be able to watch them day by day, and eventually be able to even invest in them as well. So definitely really cool stuff. I'm very excited about all this. I love doing this stuff, as you can tell, I'm sure. And yeah, and again, I hope to see you guys in our class. Again, it starts next week. Let's get started. Let's end 2021 with a bang, and making more money than we did even last year. Thank you very much, guys, for being part of this. This has been fantastic. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you. Good night, guys.